Kevin Andrews, thanks for your time tonight.
Good evening, Brian.
You've announced you're prepared to stand as a candidate against the Prime Minister.
What I've said, Brian, is that let's assume the case that the leadership became available, I would certainly be a potential candidate for that leadership.
Against the current Prime Minister?
Yes, it's entirely theoretical at the moment, Brian. Entirely.
Do you mean it's not going to happen?
No, I mean, Brian, that my candidature would be available if and only if the leadership was a position that became open.
So you're not mounting a challenge?
No, I'm not mounting a challenge, Brian. I'm simply making myself available.
You're just trying to help?
I'm saying that I would be happy to help, Brian, if the leadership of the party became vacant. I would put myself forward.
Kevin Andrews, let's imagine for some reason there was a leadership challenge.
Well, it's not, beyond the powers of imagination, Brian. We're going backwards in the polls. We haven't got any policy. Sooner or later, perhaps Christopher Robin's going to have had his moment in the sun and maybe pop home, Brian, for a little rest.
And give Eeyore a go.
I'm saying, Brian, that in that instance, I would put my name forward as a potential candidate for the leadership of the party.
Kevin Andrews, who would support you?
Well, lots of people, all the people, Brian, who are dissatisfied with the current leadership.
Yeah, but won't those sort of people vote for the opposition?
I am the opposition, Brian. Yes, this is the point I'm trying to make.
OK, Kevin Andrews, the question here is, I suppose, what sort of support have you got?
Well, I've got, very broad support, Brian, from...
Not just Tony and Eric?
Oh, no, Brian, not Tony and Eric only. I mean, you obviously can't become the leader of your party with only 3 votes.
Obviously. How many have you got?
At the moment, Brian?
Yep.
In total?
Yep.
7.
So you're well on the way.
Oh, yes, we're in that building phase, Brian, and that vital build is going very well.
Kevin Andrews, traditionally, isn't it your job to support the leadership of your own party?
It would be, Brian. If I saw any leadership, I would be supporting it.
But you haven't seen any leadership?
I haven't seen any. This is the point I'm trying to highlight.
OK, Kevin Andrews, if you got to be the leader, what would you do?
Well, I'd ring Tony and Eric and we'd get together and see what we wanted to do.
Go for a little bike ride?
As I say, Brian, I'd ring Tony and Eric, we'd get together, we'd see what we wanted to do.
And then you'd make some policy announcements?
We would, but it wouldn't be terribly... let me, for example, reassure you now in public, Brian, and let me put this on record. There'd be no cuts to health, no cuts to education, no change to pensions, no increase in the GST, and no cuts to the ABC or to SBS.
Sounds wonderful.
Can you just read that back to me, Brian? It's got a lyrical beauty. I never tire of it.
Sure. No cuts to education.
It's fantastic.
No cuts to health.
It's gorgeous, isn't it?
No cuts to pensions.
I wonder who wrote it.